Couch Discussions. I'm Marene Jooste, an educational psychologist.
And I'm Marene Jooste. I almost said Botha. You have such a beautiful surname. And I'm a registered kinderkineticist, and we're both moms.
Yes, so through all our years in practice and dealing with children and textbooks and all our studies, we still feel that being moms has taught us so much.
Yes, way more than a textbook.
Yes, so today's topic is toys. How much is too much? That is something we can all relate to. I'm sure you can tell us.
No, definitely. I remember when we grew up, we had very little, and I'm so thankful for that. Because we've learned way more problem-solving skills in the first place, playing with few toys than what our children have today. I mean, we live in an era where if something breaks, it's easy to replace it. You just drive to the shop and you go buy it. Or, they have a mentality. Our children and the youth of today is like, I don't need to look after my toys because tomorrow I can get a new one.
And I have so many toys that I don't really value everything for what it's worth.
Yes.
I also feel like with having had less toys, we were more creative.
Way more.
Yes. So studies show that the more toys, the less creative kids will play, and the quality of the play will also be poorer.
Yes. I remember when we grew up, the creativity that we had at the end of the day is we took toothbrushes and we had our drapes over it, and we would pretend, or our washcloths,
Yes.
is that? We would pretend that's the hair of our baby dolls, and we would chat away and, played and having so much fun compared to our children. If I tell my child now, I remember my boy coming to us and saying he would like to have X, Y, Z, and I said, no, you first need to show me that you can play with a branch outside. And he was very perplexed by it, but at the end of the day, if you look at it, they enjoy way more playing with simple stuff than a 500 or 1,000 rand gift.
And I also find that having the need to play outside with a branch took them through the sensory experience where they were in nature. They had all their senses involved, and he probably benefited way more from that than from the figurine that he wanted.
Yeah, because you always talk, Marina, about open playing toys, hey?
Yes.
So if you have a figurine, you can only use it in one situation for that specific point. So tell us a bit more about open play toys.
So open-ended toys is something that you can use very versatile for more than one purpose. This would be your play food, for example. You can have a restaurant with it. You can pretend to have a family meal together with your dolls. You can sell food from your grocery store. So it's really a toy that you can use for more than one thing.
Yes.
And more than one purpose.
Yeah.
And if you think of household items, those make the perfect open-ended toys. And I've seen so many times that kids actually prefer real-life items to expensive toys. We looked at that video, Marene, where the baby sat and they gave him a choice between a toy and an everyday item. And he consistently chose the everyday item, which is amazing if you think about it. Because the toys are more colorful, it makes sounds, it usually moves around by itself, and that baby's, or not just that baby, all the babies that they did it with consistently chose everyday items.
But if you think of it, every time you go to a party and you observe, children play more with the gift wrapping and the box itself at the end of the day than the actual gift. And I find that rotation of gifts also eliminates the need for the children to get bored. So what I mean by that, and boredom is good.
Rotation of toys.
Yes, rotation of toys. So when our children were small and young, we used to have different baskets with toys in, and then I would pack away 3 or 4 baskets and only allow them to play with a toy or 2 or 3 for a certain amount of time. And then you get quality of play as well, because then they actually engage with what is in front of them. It's not only an electric thing spinning around and making noises, it's them actually playing up to the full potential. And then only after 2-3 days I would pack it away, and then suddenly the old ones appear, but it's brand new. They go like, what? We forgot about this and this and this.
Yeah.
And then they enjoy the play again. I'm thinking about one of the boys that stays with us. He's from Zimbabwe. And you know, in Zimbabwe currently, there's not quite a lot of money that you can just go and pick up in the streets. So they are forced to play with toys that's handmade. So what they do, for instance, Marene, is they take plastic bags and they push it into one another and they make a ball out of it and they play soccer with it. And they have hours and hours of fun. Go and have a look at Facebook videos where children are hanging onto branches of trees and they swing around and they push the... Have you seen that one? I actually got such a fright. Where they pull down the tree and then the branch just would go up in the air and the children would fly through.
Yes, them. We did it as kids.
No, we did.
We had no fear. And I think it's because we had... less toys, and we needed to be creative with what we had.
Yeah.
We actually engaged with everything we had much more, and we engaged with nature more, which was great for our development. So the other day we walked through a toy store and I realized that we have something off every shelf at our house, which is a scary thought for me. So what is too much? I'm thinking that maybe I am inhibiting creativity. I'm inhibiting problem-solving skills because we just have too much toys. So we really need to look at a few tips for toys at home. You already started with your first tip saying, let's rotate toys, which is a wonderful idea. What else, Marene?
And then you can, that's something that we also do, is we have it's almost like a bookshelf, but it can close. So we have this closed encasing, if you can call it that way. And we put all of the toys in there, and whatever doesn't fit, we throw it away. Well, we don't throw it away. This is what we do.
What do you do?
Yeah, let me tell you. So we put it into plastic bags, and we drive around with it in the car. And once we get to, you all know these mommies, standing at the robots. A lot of them have little ones on their back or, just standing there. They don't get any sensory play or any stimulation for that much. And then I give the children the opportunity to take the toys to the children so that they can give it to them. And they feel that their toys are valued because now it serves a purpose. And they experience the feeling that they get when you give. Because it's a very happy, joyous moment when you give away your stuff. So in a one sense, I remember I had to teach that to them because at first
it's difficult.
Yeah, they hung on to their toys. They're like, no, it's mine. And I'm like, but you don't play with it anymore. And let's rather give it to someone who can play with it. And at that point, when I say you don't play with it anymore, obviously children outgrow certain objects as they grow older and bigger. But what we find oftentimes as well is parents aren't really sure what to buy when for their children at what age. The age appropriateness of toys.
That's such an important tip because if you buy something that they've already outgrown or something that they are too young for, that toy will not be used or it won't be used to its full potential or it won't be used properly. And if you look at the prices of toys, that's just sad.
Ooh, it's very expensive.
Yes.
We now opt for the China Mall options nowadays. Because if you look at Legos, our boys, they love Legos. And Legos is obviously a good quality toy as well. But what we find is we take the Legos and then we up the Legos with the cheaper versions now and again. And then they can play and build their own things. Our boys like to break down and I know it depends from child to child and personality comes in as well. They like to break it down and then repurpose the Legos into other things. But one thing that I've learned from Marene is she's very organized. So she likes to have her toys and the children's toys in a way that it's more packed together and joined together. And that serves a purpose as well. Tell us a bit more.
So that's a very good tip and it works well for us. We organize toys according to theme and also in see-through boxes because it needs to be accessible to spark that creativity and to spark the want to play with it. So we would have a see-through crate of toy cars together, we would have the toy food together, we would have a crate with the building blocks together, and having it sorted in that way helps them to decide what they want to play with and what they want to do. and it improves the quality of play. And I never restrict them to use something together. I don't say you can only play with one crate at a time. I would never restrict play like that. But it does give them a good starting point. And when they pack away, they need to sort it again.
Yes.
Which, I mean, you can go into this. It gives them skills. It develops sorting skills. It
Very
develops
important.
a lot of things. But also it prevents clutter. Because the more cluttered the toys are, the thoughts are, the house are, the less they will play.
Yes, they don't engage. Have a look at it. I once walked into a school and I was very frustrated because of the situation and what I saw in front of me, and not because of it wasn't the school's fault, it was also lack of knowledge from their side. But what happened is when I opened up the door of the school and I walked in, all of the little ones, round about between 15 and 18 months of age, stood against the window and they were banging with their hands on the window because it makes a sound. And they were staring outside and the floor was full of toys. I mean, it was like scattered all over, but no one was engaging with it.
Why don't they play with it?
So that was my first question. So I walked in and I sat down on the floor and I took one of the little ones. And I first saw it's not age appropriate because it was way too difficult for them. What they have put out for the children to play with was so difficult they couldn't engage with what they were supposed to do. So it was one of these things where you have to hook them into one another. Now for a 15 to 18 month old little one and the type of hook that it needed, they couldn't do that. So what happened was they would pick up the toy, they would look at it, and then they would start smacking each other with it instead of actually playing it with it. So what I did is I asked the teacher, I said, come sit with me. So we packed up all of the toys and we moved the toys to the next older classroom, and then I went to the older classroom and surprise, I found toys there that were appropriate for the other class. So the moment we switched around toys, now you have to understand this, that teacher wanted to pull out her hair. She was super frustrated with the fact that they were biting and hitting each other, not playing, crying the whole day. And once we have sorted out the toy problem, suddenly the children were engaged and they started playing and they had so much fun. So it's very important for us to understand the purpose of toys, when a child is supposed to do what, and we're going to guide you guys in that as well. We're going to provide you with guidelines in the comment section, and we'll provide resources in the line of the most appropriate toys.
Yes. Age appropriateness, definitely a good tip. Thanks, Marene. And then also, what I wanted to say with your Lego example, to play without instruction.
Yes.
So it's wonderful for them to pack out a Lego set and to work through the booklet and follow the instructions and then create something. That is a skill set
On its
on
own.
its own. And then you've got something else, which is more open-ended, which is more creative, which depends on their problem-solving skills. And that is creating something without an instruction booklet. And sometimes our kids are so used to structured activities and guidance that they find it daunting to do something on their own without knowing what you expect of them. So free play.
Yes,
Free
very
play should be a
important.
very big part of a child's day and of their play. So by all means, play with them, join in their play. We actually encourage that.
Yeah.
But let your child take the lead. Let them tell you what the situation in this restaurant is that they've set up. And if they want to act out and the waiter is throwing down the plate, don't tell them, no, we don't behave like that. That's their playtime. They are dealing with their emotions through play. They are thinking and working through things that happened in their life through play. It's their language. Play is their language. So allow them to take the lead. You follow. You eat. You compliment the chef. If you need to throw your toys because they tell you to, you do that.
Yes. Now's your time.
You let them take the lead and you allow them to experience free, unstructured playtime.
Yes, yeah. What I want to add, I'm thinking as you're talking, I can see myself a few years ago where I was super frustrated with the fact that toys were lying around. Now, obviously, it's because I didn't have Marinda to teach me about structure and putting your toys away. But what I want to say, though, is treasure the moment, every phase that your child is in, and the playing phase that they're in, treasure that, because it slips through so quickly, or it slips away so quickly. I was frustrated, lying over the toys, lying everywhere, but now, when they're a little bit bigger now, I actually long for those days where I could find them sitting on the floor playing with whatever. So don't get agitated or frustrated with your children once they do have the urge to go and play. Leave your children, let them play, let them eat mud, let them eat the dog food for that matter. I'm all for that. I know some mummies will go,
nutritious.
Oh, yes, I know. But at the end of the day, the fact of the matter is toys are important. It's never going to go away. We're always going to have toys around us. We just need to be wise in how much we need to buy for them, what we buy for them, at which age. And from there on, we need to engage with them, to also play with them. It's a very good thing for a child to feel their mom and dad connecting with them in a different way, other than just being, and I'm not saying be their play friend all the time. That's not what I'm saying, but you're still the mommy. But make time to also sit down and play with your child.
It's definitely a way to connect. And for some people it's difficult. Like, I sometimes struggle to be in the moment and to not do anything else. I know I've got a big list of things that needs to be done, and now I need to let go and just be there and be present and engage in play.
Yes.
So for me, it's not always easy and it's not always enjoyable. Can I say that? I don't always enjoy to play Barbie.
Yes, I do.
But I know how important it is, and I've come to realize that if you give them your undivided attention for 20 minutes, then you've got the entire rest of the day to do whatever you need to do, because then their cup is full.
Yes.
And they won't be clingy and needy and screaming for your attention all the time. So set out that undivided attention and just play. Even if you don't enjoy it that much, it's good for you.
Yeah.
It's also good for you to be in the moment and to just treasure your child for what they are and who they are at that moment. A very nice thing that I read is a challenge. What are you going to notice about your child today? So today I'm going to notice their laughter. Today I'm going to notice their carefreeness. Whatever it is, make that your mission for the day, and it will just come naturally.
Yeah. I want to quickly, we're going to wrap it up, but before we wrap it up, I want to speak about a TV program called Bluey. Have you ever seen that?
No, tell us.
Oh, it's amazing. I'm going to post the link to you. It's such a beautiful series about functional play, where the mom and the dad and the little boy and the little girl plays together. Now, I know some families don't have, an extended father or a grandma or whoever is there with them in the house. But if you look at the series, you're going to actually get some tips from it. And then in the same sense as well, I remember Richard now, our oldest boy, is 12. And when he watches that, he comes to us and he's like, it looks so much fun. They look like such a happy family because they play along. So I'm going to put that down in the resources for you guys as well. And we'll maybe, catch on the trend as well and give you some tips from Bluey as well. And to take time away from today, what did we discuss? In short, we literally have 1 minute left.
Okay, so it's real. The problem is real. Our kids have too much toys. Tips: we don't need a lot of toys. We don't need expensive toys. We don't need electronic toys. We can rotate toys. We can organize toys.
We need open-ended toys.
We can use household items.
Yes,
play with your child. Exactly.
Yeah. Until we see each other next time again, thank you so much for joining us. Leave your comments in the section. Tell us what you do at home. Remember, we want to help one another. This is not, XYZ rules that you need to follow. This is an open-ended discussion. So let's see how we can help each other. We are going to learn from you as well. And until we see each other next time again, enjoy playing.